Right. Hi, everybody, and welcome. We're going to give it just another minute to let folks get in and settled, and we'll get started at 1:03.
So do you want folks to like chat what their name is or like their organization or the part of the Utah they're in or anything like that?
Yes, that's perfect. Thank you. Please go ahead and introduce
Yeah.
yourself on the chat, your org name, and where you are. All right. I have 1:03, so we're going to get started. Um, Thank you so much for joining us for our first Utah Gives webinar. The session will be recorded and we'll make it available to everybody. It'll be linked on our nonprofit resources page on Utah Gives, and you should receive an email with additional information. Before we get started, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge our sponsors for supporting and helping us build this monumental effort. We'd like to express thanks to the Robert H. and Catherine B. Garf Foundation, Larry H. and Gail Miller Family Foundation, the Andrus Family Foundation, KRCL, Listeners Community Radio of Utah, and the Millerberg family. Um, with that, I would like to introduce MK Holody, our Director of Giving Event Success with Mightycause. Feel free to take it away.
All right. Well, thanks for joining everyone. Um, uh, I don't know if you've all met or heard from Saru, but Saru is an amazing person to work with to lead this Utah Gives initiative for your state and to benefit all types of nonprofits and impact recipients of services and people that are affected by the good that you do in your state, in your community, and we really appreciate that. And we are so happy to partner with you. So today we are going to do a getting started webinar, kind of the basics of Utah Gives and how to register. Registration is a two-part process. So there's a registration form that we'll review and then a to-do list that you has some required items for you to complete as part of your registration. And then we'll kind of navigate the platform so that when you've logged in, you'll be familiar with the dashboard, what information you can find where, and then leave plenty of time for Q&A. I encourage you to put questions into the chat and we can address those at the Q&A, or if there's anything timely or you think that would be better said during the flow of conversation, Saru or Claire, feel free to call it out if I don't see the chat, and I will answer it. And I'm going to turn my video off when I do the to go through the slides and everything because I watch myself move my hands a lot and it's a distraction for me. So I'm going to stay focused on you and do that. And the slide deck has a lot of screenshots to help you when you go back later and say, oh yeah, what did this look like? But after we go through kind of the material screenshotted, I will then go over to my browser window and open up the site and walk you through it there so that you have a demo as well. Okay, so Utah Gives Basics for those of you that are just hearing about it, or maybe you've been getting a couple of emails about it. It is presented by the Utah Nonprofits Association. It is 24 hours of giving. It is convened so that donors can find causes that they care about, maybe new ones. Returning donors can give to you on the day and see the impact that 24 hours of giving can have on your community. Utah Gives is rooted in more than 35 years of trusted nonprofit leadership. It's bringing together businesses, state leaders, grassroots organizations, and businesses. It is there's two parts to it, kind of like an early giving. So people can start donating to Utah Gives on Monday, April 6th. And then the big day itself is April 30th. So that'll be the concentrated 24 hours is April 30th. However, you can get donors into that spirit of giving and start giving early on April 6th. You have until April 16th, so halfway through that period, to finish your registration to participate. So if you want to make sure that you are receiving donations by on April 30th or before then, you want to get your registration done as quick as possible. Ideally, you're definitely going to get your registration done by April 6th when donations open, so that there's no reason that someone can't arrive at your profile and make a donation to it. Okay, so to participate, there's a couple of things that we need to cover. One, you need to be a registered 501(c)(3) in good standing with the IRS, the state of Utah. You need to be located in Utah and have a physical location or mailing address in Utah. You cannot be in violation of any applicable state, local, federal law, ordinance, or regulation. You need to complete the Utah Gives 2026 registration form and pay applicable registration fees. And you need to complete the required items on the platform's to-do list. Okay, so how to register, right? The basics, like how do I get involved in this awesome opportunity? You're going to go to utahgives.org and click login in the upper right-hand corner to create an account. So first you need to create a user account. And then once you have done that, it's very simple. You'll go back to utahgives.org and click the register now button. So that will take you to the registration page. You're going to identify the organization you're registering for. The Mightycause platform has IRS data for organizations that are in good standing with the IRS. So when you start typing in your name or your EIN, even though you may not have participated in a Mightycause platformed event before, you will, if you're in good standing, see your organization show up. So you can try typing in your organization name. If you have one that's a little more not as unique across like your state or across, the country, I recommend searching by your EIN. It's the fastest way to find your organization. There's a chance that if you are a new 501(c)(3) or if you're a fiscally sponsored organization that you're not going to find your organization name when you search by the name or the EIN. If you don't, no worries. Click this Create It Now link underneath the registration module, and you'll be given a short form to submit to our customer support team, and they will verify the data, create an organization profile for you, and will then let you know that you can come back to utahgives.org, click on registration, log in, and when you search for your name or your EIN, your organization will now show up and you can select it to complete the registration form. So the first part of registration is that short registration form. The second part is a to-do list. It shows up much like a sticky note on your computer. When you land on your dashboard, you're going to see this to-do on your profile page. Any page you navigate to in your dashboard, you're going to see the to-do list. This little red dot means there's something for you to pay attention to on there, something you need to do. So you'll see that you need to complete your organization page. You need to enter your EFT setup so that you can receive disbursements electronically. And you need to do your personalized thank you page that donors will see. As soon as you complete these 3 check boxes, your page is going to be automatically approved. If you click on that see items on your to-do list, it's going to open up what you see here, a more kind of a breakdown the different items. So for the organization page, it's going to say, hey, you need to upload a logo, a banner image, and you need to add an about section. The about section needs to be 50 words or more. And then, as I said, the EFT setup and the thank you page. Each of those, you don't need to worry about checking those off. As you complete the item, the system checks them off for you. If you are wanting to jump into a certain piece, you can just click the name that shows up. So if you click EFT setup, it's going to take you to the electronic funds transfer setup area where you would enter your routing number, your account number, perhaps some other information, and it'll take you right there, and then it'll check the box for you. So again, those are the 2 parts to doing registration. the registration form where you're entering your EIN, you're finding your name, and then this brief to-do list. There's a lot to see in the Mightycause platform. And so the dashboard is kind of your highlights list of different items that are going to be of interest to you as you cycle through from registration to telling your donors what to plan for, when to give, maybe based on some different prizes, or when you want to encourage peer-to-peer fundraising or matching gifts. And those are two things that we'll get into in our second webinar when we talk through more fundraising tools. But all of those things can be found in your dashboard. So the dashboard will have an overview page where you'll always be able to see what's my registration status. Are there any announcements that are going to show up that have been put there by Sarun team? So things that you need to know or that are time sensitive. And then your to-do list. You'll have an organization page where you can customize your profile. What you're going to see on the page is as you edit it, it's going to render in real time. This is what your page looks like. So you never have to wonder how it's going to look in real life. You're kind of editing it in real life. There's a fundraising section where we'll go through the different fundraising tools. There is a reports area where you'll be able to get your donor data and manage any personal thank yous that you want to send to donors. You don't have to send tax receipts. Those are initiated and sent out by the Mightycause platform. So some people do like to do like custom, donor outreach, maybe give them a phone call, thanks for giving, send a postcard. You'll be able to do that with the donor reports. There is a checkout area where you can customize some of the checkout process that your donor will encounter. And then there is a settings area where you can do things like add a new user or change the URL, like the direct URL that you're sending out to your fan base, your cheerleaders, your donors. So the dashboard, as I mentioned, is kind of the dashboard overview is kind of the quick glance of what's going on with your page. You're always going to know exactly where you stand with your organization setup. So this organization, it says, hey, you're incomplete. You need to do your to-do list. It says this organization has submitted the registration and it's pending. Yours is going to be automatically approved as soon as you do that to-do list, so you probably won't see that message. As donations come in, starting with early giving, you'll see that these little tiles, some quick glance metrics are going to populate, and it'll show you like your unique donor count or how many online donations you've received or how many dollars you've raised. And then year over year, it'll show you retention rates. So if someone, if your CEO comes up to you and says, hey, how are we doing today? You're able to go to the overview page and give them a really quick answer. Your organization profile, the Mightycause platform allows you to really customize your profile and brand it so that it shows a relationship between, this platform and your website. You can customize the look and feel. We I'll show you in the demo, especially, there's a lot of different items that you can add to your profile page, but you don't need to get overwhelmed by them and you don't need to worry about using all of them. We have on the page the basics of what we think is necessary to best tell your story and give at least, the minimum amount of information. And you can use the other tools to tell a more powerful story or to do some of that storytelling about why donors should give to your organization. Uh, from the organization profile page, you'll be able to upload your logo. You want a 1-to-1 ratio. You can upload a banner image. Anything, high res is going to be best. We also have a few things in our gallery. This page, the buttons are showing up in the Mightycause kind of bluish color, but you can set your own theme color so that the button, like your donate button, shows up in your whatever your hex code is, that green color that is your branding or the yellow color or whatever it might be. So you can do some basics on the initial glance of the organization profile really easily. The About section and the Custom tab are a really good way to tell your story with different elements, whether the element is a bulleted list of testimonials, whether you want to embed a video, whether you want to add a picture or two. If you want to add, more than a handful or a couple of pictures, we do have a multimedia kind of a scroll, so you can use that. But you can also add pictures or videos to the About section. The About section could be a mini landing page. You can add a button. You can add buttons and say, like, click here to see your annual report, or adding programmatic information. Some people might use that additional tab next to the About tab to put information about their programs or what the impact of the Utah Gives 2026 is going to have on your organization. What is it going to allow you to do? Or is there any special program that you're fundraising for? Um, yeah, so there's a full HTML, like a full WYSIWYG. It's called a What You See Is What You Get editor, so that you can do all of the different font machinations. You can justify your page differently. You can add those elements that I mentioned, such as hyperlinks, buttons, videos, or images. And or you could simply say, I don't have time to do all of that, and you want to copy and paste some information from your website to your About section. You can do that too. It's still going to look good. Um, and again, as I mentioned, as you're building out that About section, as what you see is how it's going to look with your published profile. Mightycause was designed with a mobile first standpoint. So how you build out your profile, it's always going to look great on mobile. It looks great on desktop as well, but you don't have to worry about, is this going to look good on mobile? It does. Also, if you're making dinner with your family and you're like, oh, I have a couple of minutes while these noodles boil, I'm going to add. Also, interact with your profile from your cell phone. You don't have to worry about, I can only do this at my, laptop when I have concentrated time. You can kind of go through it as you have time and work with the different elements. Um, you can also do things like customizing your social share settings. That's hard to say. Social share settings. So if someone shares your page to Facebook or, X or something like that, what do you want, the description to be, or what specific image do you want to share? So you can set that up as well. There's quite a few things that you can do to further tell your story and the impact that's being seen by this campaign. We recommend that you make use of the goal bar. So you can put in a goal. Maybe your goal is a certain number of dollars. Maybe your goal is a certain number of donors. You can put that in there. And as progress is made towards that goal, the horizontal thermometer bar will move over so that you can see, kind of compel donors to maybe give a little bit extra, or to invite a friend to donate because, hey, look, you're only one donor away from your goal. So we recommend doing that. You can play around with what metrics you want to display. So you can, by default, show the amount raised and the number of donors. Maybe you want to make sure to include offline donations because those are also having an impact on your, total activity. So you can choose all of those things to add. By default, we'll have those selected, and by default, the calculations will start with early giving at 12 a.m. on Monday, April 6th.
MK, can I pause you quickly here?
Yeah,
We have a question that might be relevant
perfect.
to metrics. So a participant wants to know if we have any guidance on how best to determine what an organization should set for their Utah Gives fundraising goals.
Oh, well, it could be something as in, if we got an extra $1,000, we could do this. So maybe that's your goal. So you want to put $1,000 in, but it could be, this is our first year. Maybe our goal is $500, or maybe your goal is, we've got X number of board members and we want them to recruit X people to give. So maybe it's 20 unique donors is your goal. It doesn't have to, there's not a recommended kind of, I would say base it off of, what does your current giving look like, or what type of donor outreach do you have? And once you set the goal, you can update it as many times as you want. You can increase it or you can lower it. You're not stuck with it. So whether you're changing your goal before early giving, during early giving, or on the giving day, that's 100% possible. And maybe you reach that goal of $1,000 and you're like, you know what? I want to stretch that. I want to raise $2,500. So you can change that. And there's no problem with that.
Great, thank you. We have a couple other questions, but I think they may be relevant at other times in our presentation.
Okay, thanks. One of the items I mentioned on your to-do list is to set up electronic funds transfer. So we ask for we don't store these on our platform, they're communicated to another platform, but we ask for your routing number and your account number. And most likely those will be automatically verified and you'll be set up. If our support team gets back that we need to further verify it, they might reach out to you and ask you for, a voided check or a bank letter or some other form of identification. But by setting up direct payouts with EFT, you are able to get your disbursements then electronically. We do them twice a month. So if we were ever to go, beyond the giving event to a year-round look or something, the donations always get distributed twice a month. I think it's the 15th and the 25th. And that is a requirement for setting up your profile at this time, is setting up the electronic payouts. You will see under reports that you have a donor report or a donation list. As I mentioned before, donors do receive automatic tax receipt emails. Admins also receive, organization admins will also receive email notifications when a donation is made. If you want to turn that off, you can go to your account settings and turn off that email cadence. You'll always be able to, sorry, we don't have a previous platform. I missed that. But you'll be able to access your historical data as you go from year to year. You don't need to worry about exporting it or losing it. It's always going to be here on the Mightycause platform. And there's a lot of different filters you can use. It's always going to default to the last 30 days, but you can do a custom donation look like this first week of early giving specifically. How did we do? What did it look like? You can download then that donation list and say, here's who I want to hit up, or here's who I want to send a thank you note, or here's who I'm going to contact. And we can go into this more even for next year about how to use that donor list and kind of turn it around for campaign success. We also have a retention report that I'll be able to show you next year, where you can say who gave in 2026 but hasn't given yet in 2027, and do a specific campaign targeted at those donors. So there's a lot of donation data that you're going to be able to access. And when you see your donations come in real time, there's going to be a limited amount that displays in the donor report itself on this page. But when you download it, you're going to have access to all of their information that they have chosen to share with you, provided they're not making an anonymous donation or something like that. The donation form is on the dashboard in the left-hand side is under checkout. The donation form is a area that you can think about, and we can talk about this in the next webinar, but it's another opportunity for you to tell your story by, maybe choosing specific donation levels that could have a real impact on your organization. In this example for a humane society, it gives an example of $10 and they said this can feed a cat for 1 week, or $25 gives 5 dogs blankets. So you could choose different dollar amounts. You don't have to add a kind of an impact statement if you don't want to, but we recommend it. It makes what you do in your day-to-day and what your organization does, it makes it really real and tangible for donors, and I think encourages them to consider giving a little bit more. What else in the checkout flow? You can preview the whole flow so that you can see what it looks like and what the donor is going to experience, so that if you're sending out an email to your donor, you can tell them, hey, this is what it's going to look like. This is what you're going to encounter. The Mightycause donation flow is really user-friendly. There's no limit to the number of donations a donor could put in a cart. So there's no worry about, well, if they give to that organization, maybe they won't give to us. No, I think they can put up to 200 donations in their cart. It's either 200 or 300, but I don't think we're going to need to worry about reaching the limit. But I think that you'll be pleased with seeing how kind of user friendly and navigable the donation process is. Part of the checkout elements on your dashboard as well. And this one is a requirement for your to-do list is a thank you page. So when the donor makes the donation, they're going to see a thank you message from Utah Gives, from Utah Nonprofits Association. But below that, they'll see if you've elected to add a custom thank you page, they'll see a thank you message from each of the organizations that that donor gave to in their cart. And it could be a simple, 2-word sentence, thanks for giving, or as this example screenshot shows, this organization embedded a video. So maybe it's a thank you message from a program recipient, or maybe it's a annual report that you want to link out to and add a button so that they can see that. There's a lot that you can do with your thank you page, but again, you can make it a compelling story, and also thank the donor for all that they're allowing you to do with their donation. Okay, so those are the main areas of just like getting started. What do I need to do? How do I interact with it? I can answer questions now, Claire, if you think those questions apply, or we can go through the demo and see it in real time.
Let's just chat through a couple of the questions
Okay,
that are popping up. This is a very curious group, and so it's
love
exciting
it.
to get so many questions. Let's see here. If this platform is already being used for another giving day, would the organization just edit all of their information to be more relevant Utah-wide, and then they would change it back to meet the needs of another giving day?
Yes, that's how I would do it.
Great. What is the benefit of registering via this specific platform, the Mightycause platform, when they already have their own donation page?
Well, the donation page is for, specifically for your organization, whereas the Mighty Cause platform is because you want to participate in Utah Gives 2026 because you want to be a part of the statewide movement where donors come to, the platform and they're exposed and given ability to search for different types of organizations. They're able to say, oh, I've traditionally always given to the Conservation Alliance, but I searched by environment in the search filters, and I wanted to see who else does similar work. And so maybe they would be exposed to your organization when they're not in your donor book, or maybe they're not even in they're not in the same part of the state, but donors are now being shown organizations across the state that are making an impact. And so it's kind of that rising tides lifts all. Donors are typically more generous when they're engaging in kind of this type of giving day movement than they are when they're just saying, "Oh, I'm going to go give to NPR again." But when I give to a giving day, I always look for a new organization to give to, and I think that is uh, what people experience across different communities with their giving events. Saru, did you have anything you wanted to add to that?
Um, just reiterating what MK was saying, the benefit of participating in Utah Gives is one, it also unlocks various incentives and prizes that we're building out and currently seeking sponsorship for. So there will be things like leaderboards and golden ticket random drawings. So the benefit of participating on this platform is that you can maximize existing donations. Additionally, and I'm responding to Jamie's question on the chat, you will leverage our statewide marketing push. So UNA is working with promotional sponsors, including KRCL, Salt Lake Tribune, also working with media partners, ABC4, Fox 13, to really launch a statewide effort. And so in the coming weeks, you'll hear more about kind of regional promotion, working with partners and across the state in Southern Utah and Moab, Northern Utah, Utah County, to really build momentum around this. So really the value is piggybacking off of the branding, marketing, and large scale visibility and using this to fill your donor pipeline.
Thank you.
Let's do just a couple more here, MK, and then we can move into the demo. Are offline sponsors or matches encouraged?
Yes, our platform allows for offline gifts. So if someone, you know, someone walks into your office and they bring a check by or cash, there are people that are old school and want to hand deliver that donation to you. You can enter it as an offline gift. And if you enter it during the early giving or the giving day period, then it does count. We'll be working on building out our leaderboards and the impact, like what donations are received, but commonly offline gifts are included in like your metrics and in leaderboards. They aren't eligible for prizes usually, but they are, part of the movement of generosity that is seen through the giving event. So yeah, we encourage you to guide your donors to give online, but if someone brings something in the door or sends something in the mail, we're not asking you to turn that away or to not count it.
Great. There's a couple of questions about Mightycause support, which I think we can get to the end.
Okay.
I think you can move forward with the demo right now. Some other questions
Okay.
might be answered at that time.
All right. Thank you. Okay. So as I mentioned, the first step in getting started is going to be coming where it says MK. Since that's me, you will not see that. It'll say login. And once you're logged in, it'll show your name. But your first step will be clicking, the login and creating a login. And then, either navigating to register now, which is up here in the header navigation, or the register now button. That again takes you to the registration page, which talks about registration fees. It talks about the eligibility criteria we reviewed, and it talks through the different steps that are required to participate. And then finally, you'll get to that registration form. It is as simple as typing in someone's EIN and typing in an EIN or an organization name, and then you'll just select it. Because I'm already logged in and I'm connected to this organization called Stretch Pool, if you were to save your registration and hadn't completed it, when you come back, you'll see the option to select that organization you started with. And in coming years, you'll see when you log in, you'll see options for any organizations you're a user for. So you might be a board member for one organization, and you might be a volunteer or an employee for another organization. You can be a user attached to multiple organizations. The registration form is, again, really straightforward. It talks about, counties served, your cause area as identified by the NTEE category with the IRS, your budget size, selecting your registration fee rate, putting in some contact information, and then just seeing if you're interested in sharing your nonprofit story with the media. And that's all you have to do. If for some reason you don't have all of that information, you can click save and finish later, and you can come back and when you go to the registration form, all of your details will be showing that you've already entered. And then when you're done entering all the information, you'll just click continue. So anytime you come back to the platform after you have logged in and registered, you'll be able to go to your name, and that will show you you'll see, I see platform because I'm a platform admin, but you will see under organization, it'll show you the single or multiple organizations that you are associated with. This could be specific to Utah Gives, or for the person that had asked about, they participate in another giving event, you would see your organizations, any organization in the Mighty Cause kind of platform that you are associated with. So you would go into your organization profile. So let me pull up one of those for you. Actually, yeah. So this is what it'll look like when I land on it as you, as an organization user. I'm going to land on my overview page here. And again, it's saying, hey, my to-do list is highlighted. Okay, I need to see my to-do list. Great. I need all of these things to be checked off. Like I had mentioned, if you scroll down, they hyperlink, they will take you to that part of your profile so that you can easily go ahead and do that. It'll show you some of those stats at a quick glance. I like to see the profile visits. Great. 5 people have visited UNA's profile in the last 30 days. You will go to your organization page. And again, this is true on-screen editing. It defaults to being in the edit mode. If you want to see what it looks like live, you just turn off the edit mode and scroll a bit. And this is your public profile. You can either turn on the edit mode, and anything that has this little gray, has a gray icon is something that you can edit. So you could say, oh, Utah Nonprofits Association is our legal name, but we're more commonly known in the community as UNA. So you want to make your display name say UNA instead, so you can do that. We talked about kind of setting a goal. So here is where, sorry, this is where you would set a goal. You add a goal bar. You can, again, put in dollars or donors. And then I can hide that section since it was not displayed. We have that whole about area where, again, you have this whole rich text editor to use and to tell your story. We have that custom tab where you could add maybe programs or testimonials. We have the ability to get into even giving activity. So I like this is a giving wall. So it'll show donations that have been received. And you don't have to put that on there, but sometimes donors like to see their name right away or to know that they gave. And provided it's not anonymous, it'll show. And if it's anonymous, it might say anonymous gave $5. So you'll have all of that there. You can do specifically, you could highlight peer-to-peers, and we can talk about that in the fundraising tools, but you might highlight some peer-to-peers by board members that have been created. So you can do that. We have the media gallery that you can add videos, Vimeo, YouTube, images, add those. And then some of that data that you entered via registration or that was part of the IRS data will show up here in the summary section. So you want to make sure that you have, ways for donors to reach out to you with an email address or a phone number or a website. Let me go to this demo site to show you some of the other tools. So we have, this is part of the CRM, the supporters and the contacts, but you'll have your fundraising tools where you'll be able to see peer-to-peers that were created for your organizations. And we'll talk through that more on our next call. You have the ability to make an embeddable, like an embeddable donation widget that you could put on your own website during early giving and giving day, so that you can have people that are arriving at your website naturally, give them a way to give to Utah Gives without having to leave your website. And we can talk through that a little bit more as well. We'll definitely be getting into matching grants and looking at peer-to-peer templates, which are a really easy way for you to go ahead and pre-make a peer-to-peer that all of your board members can then use. And they just have to like plug in a few words here and there, maybe an image, and they'll be done. So it makes it really easy to encourage peer-to-peer giving. As I had mentioned, under reports, we will be able to see donations at a glance with different filters for time period, whether it was an online donation or an offline donation, even, or maybe as we get history in the platform, you're saying, oh, these are all different names from different demo examples, but you'll see Utah Gives 2026, then you'll see Utah Gives 2027, and you can select, as we go forward in time, you can select which giving event you want to look at data for. You can search for donors by their name, or like this donor says they gave $1,000 donation, so maybe you filter the list to just show $1,000 donations. You can come here to go to our offline donations. So as I mentioned, if someone walks in with a check, you can go ahead and come to offline donations and add an offline donation. There's a lot of information you can collect, which is for your own record keeping. But at a minimum, we're just looking for, the name and the amount and the source, and for you to have a date on it. And we can go into this more with the fundraising tools, but you can collect offline donations, and we do want you to be able to keep a record of them. So we give you different ways to do that and to compare it to your other system that you might be recording that donation in. You will be able to see your disbursements as you receive them. So after early giving and you get that disbursement, you'll be able to see it here, the status of it, how much it, what date it was sent out, and how much it was for. You will go to your checkout area, and this is where you'll have that donation form where you can kind of do some of these impact level of donations, where you can say whether you want somebody to be able to make a dedication or to designate, like in honor and memory of. Maybe they want to designate it to a general fund or to a specific program. We can do things like that. Your thank you page, which is part of your required to-do list items. You can come here, and this is a really simple thank you message. It's just one sentence, but you could also do that whole embed a video, add a button, do that. You can view the page so that you can see, oh, this is what the donor is going to see. Here is the thank you message from Utah Gives 2026 or from this big Give 2030. And then below that will be thank you messages from each of the donations or each of the organizations for whom a donation was made in that cart. What else? A couple of things you might be interested in are, hey, I have multiple admins that need access to my data. Great, no problem. Come to settings, go to admins, and you can go ahead here and add an admin. It's as easy as that. And once you add them, they will have access to the platform. They'll just need to set a password. You might also be interested in going to your general settings here, and this is where you can make a custom URL. So the system will automatically create a URL for you, but you can come here and say, oh, Animal Humane Society, we'd rather it be known as AHS. So you can make your custom URL AHS. The only thing with the custom URLs is that the URL does have to be unique across the different giving events that Mightycause hosts. So if you might need to say Animal Humane Society dash Utah or something like that. Like if you have, a school, there might be, a couple of Thomas Jefferson schools. So maybe they add a different one. Maybe they add the specific, city that it's located in or the state. You can also help people find you when they're on the search page by coming to this alternate search names area. And you can do a couple of like a comma limited list of a couple of different names, but maybe people commonly search for you again by AHS. And so you want to make sure that that pulls up when someone types it in as a search criteria. Or maybe you want to do like humane, comma spay neuter, comma animal, or something like that. But you can put some different search tags basically in this alternate search names. Not to be confused with the actual word search tags on the Mightycause platform. That wasn't what I was referencing. I just meant you can kind of customize different ways that people might be searching for your organization. Don't go overboard with it because that just it's not going to get you better results. I would stick to having just a couple of items in there. Um, okay, those are definitely making sure people can find you through the search by how you're known in the community and customizing your URL. Like those are things you'll definitely want to come to at some point before early giving. You can, just so you know, this organization, because we're on the yourgivingday.org demo, it's showing that their URL is yourgivingday /organization name. You can take out this organization word. And so for Utah Gives, it would be utahgives.org /Animal Humane Society. So you can make a shorter URL, a more friendly one or more personal one that you send to your donors. So that's an option that's out there, or you can just copy this whole URL and use that. It doesn't really make a difference, but some folks like the shorter URLs. Okay, those are like the highlights of everything I talked to, how to navigate to it, and what'll probably be of interest to you first. And then, of course, there's a lot there, so we'll be getting into it in more detail on our next webinar. Claire, what can I answer?
Great. There are some specific questions about projected number of donors who may be participating in Utah Gives, timelines for when funds might be delivered to organizations after the event or giving day.
Let's talk about the
Let's see, the
items.
giving event is April. Why am I brain farting? April 20th?
April 30th.
April 30th, April 20th. Okay. So I believe those will be dispersed on I believe those will get dispersed on probably like around the 25th of May. I believe there is. I don't think that those will make it into like the first disbursement of the month, which would be the 15th. So those will come out by the end of May. However, early gifts, like if you got a donation on April 6th, those would come out in the first disbursement in May, which is that about, give or take, May 15th. See, and prize money is dispersed directly from UNA, so that might have a different timeline, but this is for online donations. That is our disbursement cycle.
In addition, there's another question about disbursements about using Stripe and how it will integrate with an organization Stripe account. So it is through EFT that disbursements will flow from the Mightycause Foundation to your organization.
It is. Maybe the person is referencing, maybe they have experience working with GiveGab Bonterra, maybe platform for a giving event where the organization does have to set up a Stripe account. You do not have to do that with Mightycause. The only information you have to provide, you don't have to give your social security number, your driver's license, or any of that you might have to do to set up a Stripe. You just need to put in your routing and account number and any other information that the support team might ask for. But when I say any other information, the majority of those are just automatically able to be approved through our vetting platform. If we do need additional information, it's really just like a voided check or a bank letter. It's not kind of a lot of personal identifying information. The Mightycause Charitable Foundation is a donor advice fund, and we do take in the donations, we process them through our payment processor, and then we disperse them to the organizations that were donated or that were noted per the organizations or per the donor's donation. So you don't have to worry about setting up a Stripe or integrating anything there.
I'm toggling between the chat and the Q&A. There was just another question about prize types. They will be announced soon. We are working on funding our first prize. So all nonprofits who have started the registration, completed the registration, or saved the registration, we have your information and we will communicate with you directly. Let me also grab the Stay Informed sign up link for general email updates. We will put all the prizes on blast. This is our, title it, Utah Gives newsletter link. If you are signed up for UNA emails or Utah Gives emails, we will be notified, and then we'll also have them very visible on the utahgives.org page. In the coming weeks, we're finalizing some details on sponsored prizes, so stay tuned for that. Y'all are the good students who registered early. There are a few other questions I'm happy to field. Is there going to be an in-person event? UNA will likely have a live Giving Day celebration event where we might invite some sponsors to do some live streams, prize announcements. We'll watch our leaderboards. What we really also want to do is encourage nonprofits. We'll give you toolkits, resources, some branding, graphics to host your own celebrations. Really, our goal is to, over the course of the next few years, create a legacy program that's a little bit decentralized. We want to give you the tools to set celebrations in your communities, bring your supporters together. So be on the lookout for additional resources in the coming weeks for branding, social posts, how to host your own Giving Day event. And if you are in Salt Lake, let us know. We're going to plan something for the end of April.
See. I did not, I'm just scrolling through the chat. And while I do that, I did not remember to press forward to go to the support page, but Mightycause has a great customer support team. They are available always, support at mightycause.com. They're online Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 Eastern. There is a phone number you can call and might land in voicemail, but they do return voicemails. We also have a couple of support libraries. And then, of course, there is like the toolkit resources page that we are creating with Saru and team to have available for you all. And there's always a question mark icon on the page that you're on. You go to that, and it'll help you search through Mightycause the support library questions based on criteria that you enter, and then always the option, if you didn't find your answer, to go ahead and submit a ticket that our team will respond to. They do respond to tickets within, give it a couple of days, but they will get back to you, and they are super helpful. They know lots of ins and outs of, like, you have a question about, hey, I'm a fiscally sponsored, or can you remind me again of how I do this? Or, when we get into fundraising tools and you're like, hey, I have a donor that offered a match that we want it to work like this. How do I set it up? What's the best way for me to set it up? Or how could I achieve that? They're excellent at asking questions, or maybe you have a user that's not receiving an email or something like that. All of those types of questions can go to support at mightycause.com, and they are a team of friendly experts.
Additionally, I am keeping tabs on all the questions asked on our webinar chat and on the Q&A window, and we will update the FAQ page on Utah Gives with these questions and answers as well. All right, we did just get a question as well. We are a nonprofit that supports other nonprofits through an accelerator program we run. We are not registered in Utah, but have fellows and alum in Utah and work worldwide. Are there any opportunities for us to get involved through donations or other ways? Well, I'm going to share my email address with you, Ryan, and let's have a separate conversation to learn more. That's pretty specific context, and there might be ways to plug in.
And I was like, do I have a Mightycause answer for that? I do not right now.
Do you? Okay. Is there anything else in the Q&A?
Happy to brainstorm, though.
There are a lot of questions about kind of existing donor metrics. And as far as Utah goes, as many organizations who are here today know, there was an older statewide giving day called Love Utah, Give Utah that Utah Nonprofits Association did not run. That went dormant, I believe, in 2018. And so we've since I have an opportunity to revive it, rebrand it. So UNA is starting somewhat fresh in terms of stats, expectations, goal setting with a plan for, a 3-year ramp up to make sure that this is a legacy event. So in terms of, I might kick this back to the Mightycause team. Are there any kind of general Giving Day wide breakdowns of either first-time donors versus existing donors, or corporate giving versus individual giving? Are there any general stats like that?
I don't have any general stats of mind, but if you have, but I can go ahead and look some up and, we can provide that information in the toolkit or.
Okay, we'll document that for
Yeah.
future follow-up.
MK, are organizations allowed to offer gifts to their donors?
Not in return for a donation. If you just would like to give them a gift, yes. But the whole, no gifts were received in exchange for this donation for it to be, a tax receipt. We can't promote gifts in exchange for a donation. But I like your generosity.
Just gonna respond
Any
to a
other,
question about events.
let's see. And you said there was some in the Q&A?
Some of these are a little bit more specific. How many donors are projected to participate in Utah Gives? It's a hard one in our first year. This kind of ties back to our marketing efforts and our sponsorship efforts. I will see if I can get some general Giving Day data, but it really varies a lot. And the truth is, a lot of an organization's experience will depend on leveraging and using the resources and tools you have available. Our partners at Give Minnesota will be hosting a training on February 17th about building a Giving Day communications plan. They are also a Mightycause Giving Day. They're also one of the oldest and largest giving days in the country. And so really, it has to do with kind of an organization's existing network and size, but also leveraging the resources and tools that are available through Utah Gives. So keep checking the resource page. Please make sure you're registered and signed up for emails, either through the link I shared or UNA emails. And we'll be checking this inbox a little bit more regularly. You can also email utahgives@utahnonprofits.org with questions. And for any platform questions, I encourage you to use the Mightycause support email address.
I'm sorry for the individual that made noodles at the same time they were filling out their profile and their noodles boiled over onto their laptop. I don't want to laugh because it sounds terrible. But I hope everything goes okay with you. Eric asked in the Q&A if we are promoting this to donors ahead of launch. Is the giving locked, or can people donate before the April 6th launch? Right now, we are just doing early giving starting with April 6th. The donations will be off until April 6th. Sharon asked if the donation record form can be used internally for grants received also. Mightycause does have like some software access availability for using it as a basic CRM as well. It's not immediately available in the giving event platform. So I would not use the offline gift record for grants received unless the grant is specifically like dollars raised for this Utah Gives 2026 movement. However, there's more to come that Mightycause is unveiling with the kind of CRM aspects of it. I see that stat question that you brought up, Saru. This one might be something that we could noodle on and talk about at the next call, but Angela was asking if there's a strategy specific for reaching Utah's high net worth donor community. Suru has made me aware of what a high net worth donor community you all have in Utah. I wasn't aware.
I can speak to that. I think we'll try to provide some more resources and add language on the donor side around donor advised fund giving. We'll also reach out to our partners to send messages out to their donor advised fund clients, so people with giving accounts. And the way that will happen would be through pledges, because when an individual contributes to their donor advised fund, that's when they get the tax credit. Either way, it's a little complicated, but stay tuned. Also, we encourage everybody to take advantage of UNA's trainings and resources. We have a UNA credential in fundraising and development. We also have a credential in marketing and communications. So this really involves doing a little research on your target audience, understanding that individual's profile, providing write-ups, copy, toolkits, engagement opportunities to your supporters, and working with local businesses who understand your work and support you. So we're going to provide as many resources as possible to everybody who's participating, but just know that a lot of this is like tried and true development. This is just a different platform for you to have a really successful campaign and leverage statewide resources and all the effort and energy that we're putting into this. Please keep sharing your questions. We'll also keep the FAQ page up to date, and plan to join us for our upcoming trainings on February 17th with Give Minnesota. And then on March 5th, we'll have a year-long donor engagement training. So stay tuned for that. And then again on March 24th with the Mightycause team on more advanced fundraising tools you can use on the platform. Cool. Well, we're at 2 o'clock. If there's anything we didn't answer, I will document now and make sure we can send a follow-up, or it'll be made available on the FAQ page.
Great. Thanks everyone for attending. Thank you so much for your time and attention and for your engagement. It's exciting to get a lot of questions, because that means, you're interested in the movement and interested in participating and doing such good work for the state of Utah. So thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.